First candidate I'm going to introduce to you, Mike Bouchard. He has served the state of Michigan as a state senator, and he served Oakland County as its sheriff. Among his accomplishments, serving as Assistant Senate Majority Leader while John Engler was governor, writing the real estate transfer tax cut, and pushing for creation of the Michigan Sex Offender Registry. As sheriff, he lays claim to saving the county $1.6 million per year through privatizing Oakland County's jail food services and cutting 20% of his budget while maintaining a high degree of community safety. The Sheriff of Oakland County to speak first, seeking the Republican nomination for governor, Mike Bouchard.
Well, thank you, Frank. I kind of almost feel like this is a dating game. I like long walks in the moonlight. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight. I actually was in Port Huron too, but I guess I got here quicker. Without the lights too. It's an honor for me to be with you. One of the reporters in a station recently asked me, "You've been hanging around the tea baggers a lot lately." And I said, "You mean men and women that care about this country have gotten out of their busy lives to take time, energy, and money because they are panicked about the direction of this nation and state? Those folks? Yeah, I'm with them." I love the job I have. We've got over 1,200 men and women that do a great job every day. I'm honored to be in law enforcement, to put on a uniform and go into the community. I've been doing that for 24 years. I was a police officer for 12, owned 3 small businesses while I was a police officer. You know, as cops and firefighters like to multitask. And so I never thought I'd do anything political like most of you in this room. But the first campaign I worked on was to help elect a woman I thought would remember the victims of crime, not just the defendants. And that was my first taste of politics. And so why am I here tonight? Because I've got a job I love. It's not because I want to give that up. It's because I am very concerned about the future of this state and this country. My wife and I, Pam, who's with me tonight, we have 3 kids. How many in this room are worried about their kids leaving this state? That's why I'm in the race. When I looked at what was happening, and it's not a knock on the other candidates. I like some of the other folks, they're bright people. But this is going to be a skill set that is very specific. The next governor is going to sit in that chair and have to know 3 things. What to do, how to do it, and be willing to do it. First, what to do. Obvious. It's on my website, bouchardforgovernor.com. We have to downsize government, cut taxes, reduce spending, allow entrepreneurship to grow, get out of your way and allow the economy to grow, period. It's obvious. How to do it? I know how to do it because in 1991 I left the law enforcement world to go into politics because of the same reason. Remember 1990 what the phrase was? Last one out, turn the lights off? We didn't turn the lights off then, and we're not turning them off now. So I ran. I was elected to the legislature. I was a leader in the legislature when then Governor Engler was elected, and we cut taxes. We reformed welfare. We made it a business-friendly state. Sound familiar? We have to do it all over again. It's been there, done that for me. When I left, when we started, we cut $1 billion out of the budget without raising taxes. And did all those reforms. When I left in 1999, we had $1 billion cash in the bank, a AAA bond rating, and we're ranked one of the best states in America to grow or start a company. We've been blown away, all right. Hurricane. So I know how to do it because I've done it. As sheriff, I've cut a tremendous amount of our budget. We do a 3-year rolling budget. I'm in balance 3 years from now. The state's trying to balance this year's budget. We're the only county in America that pre-funded health care and retirement and then got out of the business. We're in defined contribution. We're done with that. We will go broke if we don't do that in every level of government. Legacy will destroy our country and our state. And so we have to move in that direction. I'm not worried about being popular. And that gets to the final thing. What to do, how to do it. As a leader, I moved these things through the legislature before. Last, I'm willing to do it. Because it gets back to the first point, our kids. If somebody doesn't do this with a sense of urgency, our kids are going to leave the state and join all the other ones that have. Every 12 minutes, somebody leaves this state. We lead the nation in unemployment, lead the nation in outbound moves, lead the Midwest in violent crime, have the least number of police officers per capita in the Midwest, and the band plays on in Lansing and Washington. And I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. If you're wasting my money, my wallet doesn't know the difference. And so if you're voting for TARP and stimulus and bailouts and stupidity on a daily basis, go home. A Republican was on the news today. He wants to raise the gas tax nationally, 15 cents a gallon. Go home. Tell him to go home. And last, this started out as just about our kids. But now it's become about the future of this country. Because the growing storm is getting deeper and darker. This Constitution isn't something I carry just because it's a neat little book. I will live and die for this book. The Second Amendment and the 10th Amendment are not just slogans. They are real and they need to be protected and enforced. When you have a judge rule today that the National Day of Prayer is unconstitutional, and yet they think they can constitutionally require you to buy insurance, our government is upside down. And I will, you remember the movie Walking Tall? Remember that stick? I met Sheriff Pusser's daughter. She's a cool lady. The 10th Amendment will be my walking tall stick. I will club Washington all the way back to the hole that they crawled out of. You know, one thing I grew up with was a lot of Westerns. And when things were dark and they were bleak and the town was falling apart and it was corrupt and there was bad guys everywhere, they called on the Duke. Time. Thank you, God. I'm honored to be with you. I will answer any question. I will do everything I can to make sure this state, this country gets back on track for my kids, your kids, and our future grandkids. God bless you. And by the way, it's freedom of religion, not from religion. God bless you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Next up is Dr. Tom George.